The guy 29 male, I am 25 female dating, and his friends gatekeep me about my hobbies and career. I am feeling embarrassed. I need some help processing this. They made me question whether or not I am actually authentic when it comes to what I am interested in. I feel like I don't want to talk about my interests with anyone because I don't want to be pop quizzed. The person I am dating together 3 months. I'll call him Dan. Recently invited me out to dinner to meet some of his coworkers. The first red flag was he invited everyone out to a Hooters. And said they chose that restaurant because it's close to where they work and is easy to get to. Which is true. But there are several other restaurants nearby that offer better food and a better atmosphere. Before he invited me out to dinner, he half-joked that his coworkers, all of them are male, didn't believe that he was dating a hot girl that's into the same hobbies as them. They are hobbies that are considered to be primarily for men. I was a little irked at that comment. But he said he was just joking around. This pretty much became the catchphrase for the men that night. When everyone arrived at the restaurant, Dan and his coworkers were making comments about the girls that worked there and their physical appearances. This made me a little uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything. Once everyone ordered their food drink, his friends started to quiz me about my interests. Many of them share the same male-dominated hobbies I am interested in. And they more or less just tried to see if I knew facts about the hobby, as opposed to asking me questions about what I like, don't like, or what I am currently doing in said hobby. For example, if my hobby was American history, one of them would ask an esoteric question like, "Oh, so you like American history? How many $1 bills are currently in circulation? How old is the French Broad River?" I also work as a junior automation engineer at a startup software company. I haven't been writing code that long, as I was working in QA prior and learned how to code while I was in that position. I am really green, and I know I still have a lot to learn. The projects I am working on are small, and I am getting help at work. All of his friends are senior-level software engineers, and were quizzing me about my work and trying to see how much I actually know. They were asking about advanced things I did not know about, and were asking me technical questions that don't even apply to my job. But they were all smiling and laughing, and would frequently say something like, "Oh, we're just kidding." At one point I felt like I was at some weird interview, and was taking one question at a time from each D-bag at the table. I stopped fake smiling at some point, and just emotionlessly answered their questions. I think one of them became self-aware because he just looked down at his phone for the rest of the evening. Didn't ask me anything else and just looked uncomfortable. When they weren't asking pointed questions at me, they were talking to each other and ignoring me. I'd be interrupted if I tried to include my thoughts on the subject, or nod at me and look away to someone else. I should mention all of these guys were 5-10 years older than me. I am 25. The guy I am dating is 29. And his coworkers are in their early mid-30s. I don't have as much experience as they do. Part of me was hoping I could meet peers who could have helped guide me or answer my questions about their careers. Instead, one of them literally asked me to give him a SQL query. They all kept saying they were just kidding around or just joking and laughing about it. But it was so cringy. Dan was sitting beside me and wasn't stopping this behavior from his coworkers. He was coaching me, I guess, saying things like, "Oh, you know this one," or "Come on, you got this. We talked about this last week." Dan also made the comment of, "See, she's really smart too," to one of the guys at the table. That whole night was just awful. He was actually irritated at me because he saw my whole mood change while I was being quizzed by his friends. He said he noticed me having an attitude with his coworkers when they were just having fun and trying to get to know me. That it was immature of me to have been too obviously annoyed, and that I audibly sighed multiple times when one of his friends spoke to me. I can't stop seeing Dan as a super cringy dude now. I thought he was acting ridiculous and seemed more like a 13-year-old boy as opposed to someone who is supposed to be turning 30 in a couple of months. I am pretty sure I can't go on with the relationship at this point. I don't think this is an overreaction on my part. If I were to break up with him, is it within reason to end a relationship after this event? Everything was going fine before this happened. But now I just feel gross. The dinner happened last night, and I haven't returned any of his texts today. I know ghosting is wrong, but I don't want to look at him or speak to him. The thought of him just kind of disgusts me at this point. I've never felt like someone's show poodle before. I don't know if I'll feel differently in a week, or if I am unjustified in my anger. Too long didn't read. Went out with BF and his friends. They gatekeeped me about my hobbies and careers all night. Dan encouraged this behavior. I acted as unenthusiastic show poodle and unceremoniously answered their stupid questions. Dan is mad at me for not playing along and having a bad attitude. Update. After the post I decided it would be best to end things through a phone call. I mentioned ghosting. But it's probably best he knows how and why he ducked up. I waited until Saturday to reach out to him. Told him we need to talk. I am paraphrasing here, but this is basically what the convo went like. Dan. This is about the dinner. Isn't it? Me. Yeah, it is. Dan. And me. I don't think I've ever felt so unwelcome in a group before. It felt like a crappy interview. All they did was test my knowledge. No one tried to get to know me. And when actual conversation was going on, I was ignored or interrupted if I tried to talk. Dan. I don't feel it like it was anything like that. Me. Okay. So how often do you guys sit around just asking questions like, quick, what is the SQL query, if you want to delete 2 rows from 2 different tables? Dan. I don't know. Me. No, really. Do you quiz your friends randomly like that at work or out and about? Dan. No, not really. Me. And why not? Why don't you just ask lightning round quizzes like that? Because it's not what normal people do. Dan. I don't know. They were just having fun and joking around. Me. It wasn't fun for me. I have male and female friends in all sorts of professions. I've never cornered any of them to test their knowledge. I trust they know what they're doing. I ask them about work. What they're doing. You know, normal questions. Dan. Okay. Me. I'm not going to print out a CPA exam and quiz my accountant friend. Don't you think that would be a little ducked up? Dan. I don't know. Maybe. We talked a little more about that night. And I gave him more specific examples of what he and his friends did, and he never really had any good answered. It was a lot of I don't know and single-word answers. I told him I created a Reddit post, and I would send it to him. He was a little pissed off that I did that. Felt like I had no right to so. At the end of the conversation he asked if we were done. I told him yeah. That I can't see a future with him. That I saw a different side of him that night, and I don't want to be someone's prize poodle on display for the world to see. He didn't really say anything after that and just hung up the phone. I sent him the URL for my first post. He texted me throughout the weekend. But I didn't respond. He read the post that I sent him and wasn't happy with it. And said he couldn't believe so many people were on my side and were hating on him. He sent a few more angry texts after that, like he couldn't believe we were breaking up over something so stupid. He did send a few rounds of I am sorries and let's try to work through this, but when I didn't respond he just went back to angry texting me. Also, I did find his friend who buried his head in his phone that night, and sent him the Reddit link and asked if that sounded like what happened. Dan's friend said he knew what his friends were doing were wrong. And felt bad for me. He apologized for not stepping in. and assumed that Dan would eventually speak up for me on my behalf. He also apologized for joining them in the beginning and wished me luck in my career. Too long didn't read. I tried explaining how that night was weird, uncomfortable, and ducked up. He didn't see my point of view, didn't learn any lessons from it. I broke it off. He has been sending me angry texts. I haven't responded. Glad she didn't waste more than 3 months on this guy. A partner who more concerned about being cool than their partners being comfortable and respected are not ready to be in relationships. That guy and his entire friend group are just pathetic. Right. It's such disgusting behavior. I am glad OP got away. But I am furious on her behalf. Hope he sees this thread too. Hey Dan. Did you believe you were in the wrong when she told you? Or just when Reddit did? If the latter, reflect on what this means about how you actually view women and their opinions. Hi Dan. Those friends you were trying to impress, they all think you're pathetic. And that's just it. Dan's a bit younger than these friends, and seems to be trying really hard to impress them. OP was just another aspect in which he felt the need to prove himself. Given how the other friend didn't speak up either, one can imagine how bad the peer pressure culture in that group is. Good on OP for knowing her worth. Dan is such a laughably pathetic loser. I don't know how he hid it for 3 dates, let alone 3 months. Second story. Am I the a-hole for faking sleeping all night to see if my wife is lying? The past couple of months, my wife has been complaining about our cats. She's been claiming that the cats wake her up constantly, and that she's frustrated every night, that she has to get up and open the door for the cats, or the cats keep making noises, or the cats keep jumping on her. It got to the point where she started saying she wants me to get rid of them. I told her I've never seen or heard any of this. But she claims I sleep through it all. She kept telling me she was getting less and less sleep and kept acting aggressive, blaming lack of sleep from the cats, and that if I didn't get rid of them, she'd leave me. I legitimately started considering giving the cats to my sister, until I noticed something. One morning she claimed she had gotten up multiple times throughout the night to help the cats. She listed a bunch of times. I thought it was weird, because I had been up until 4 a.m. And she claimed that she got up at 1 a.m. to open the door for them, and a few times around 3 a.m. because they were meowing and jumping on her. I was in the bedroom the entire time while she slept, and I know none of that happened. Things weren't adding up, so I decided to run a test. I waited until she said she was going to bed. Then I let the cats out of our bedroom, lowered my phone brightness, and faked going to sleep. I just laid there in bed for the entire night, bored. But I definitely did not fall asleep. I made sure to make timestamps every 30 minutes on my phone through Discord just to be sure. I marked down every noise my cats made. One cat had jumped down from something and made a little sound at 3:18 a.m. And one ate food relatively quietly by the bedroom door at 4:57 a.m. Other than that, nothing happened. Sure enough, my wife slept from 11 p.m. until 9 a.m. And that morning she claimed she had woken up at least 7 times to open doors and from cat noises and cats jumping on her. At this point I was pissed because she was clearly lying to me. I was exhausted and fed up with the lies, so I just bluntly called her out on it. I told her, "That's funny. I stayed up all night to monitor the cats, and they weren't even in the room at all last night. I have timestamps and everything. So you've been lying to me and trying to convince me to get rid of my cats." Why? She just sat there quietly shaking and looking pissed, then got up and left without answering. She came back hours later and ignored me whenever I talked. And when I asked her how I'm the bad guy in this situation, She finally said that I was treating her like a child by lying about sleeping and staying up all night just to see if she was lying or not, and that making timestamps and everything as if I was an investigator was going too far and makes me an obsessive a-hole. I did it because she was threatening to make me get rid of my cats or she'd leave me. And her claims didn't add up. So, am I an obsessive a-hole? Update. My wife has been Baker acted. She did not hurt herself. Just said something concerning in public. I got a call from the hospital this morning, asking me to head over for some family therapy. Apparently she finally wanted to talk. I'll be honest. I'm pretty pissed at the reason why she's been so hateful towards my cats. It's absolutely asinine. It's nothing that anyone had suggested. She's not cheating. She's not sick physically or mentally. She's not bored of the relationship and looking for an out. According to her, one of the cats stepped on her laptop and ruined a story she was writing. She's hated both cats ever since. I mean, that sucks. But it's not worth trying to emotionally blackmail me into getting rid of them. I asked her why she didn't just tell me the truth, and why she'd been lying and refused to talk about it when I'd asked. Her answer was because you wouldn't have gotten rid of them otherwise. And explained that when she saw I wasn't willing to abandon them for her, she took offense and made it a goal to have me pick her over them. Sickening. Don't know why she actually admitted to it all. The woman with us asked me how I felt about all of it. And I just told the truth. I told her it was a nice run, but I'm probably going to want a divorce. I was asked why, and I told them I've seen a new hateful, malicious side of her that I want nothing to do with. She was so set on getting rid of the cats over a fanfiction being ruined that she manipulated her husband. My wife started shouting at me that I've betrayed her, and that I'm scum for choosing animals over her. At least cats don't give ultimatums like she gave. It sucks that she's been Baker acted and all, I guess. But it's for the best right now. She'll have time to process it all in a safe environment and hopefully come to terms with it. Bad husband. I know. I'm almost sure I'm going for divorce. I'm very worried about having her in the same house as my cats. I want my cats safe. I don't want to worry about them being harmed or disappearing. Screw that. I guess I'll do what almost all of you suggested: keep the cats. Rehome the wife. Not how I wanted it to end. But life isn't always nice. If I may, I want to clear up some things from the original post. I did not stare at her all night. We have a mute TV with subtitles playing every night. I subtly watch TV while paying attention to the cat sounds. I'm not allowed to install cat doors. And she won't let me keep the doors open. Apartment rules. Why did I instantly assume she was lying? I'm unfamiliar with mental health diseases. I know about some diseases, but ones that make you think your dreams happened. Tumors that make you see, hear, remember non-existent things. Sorry that I wasn't aware of those possibilities. So when someone tells me events happened when they literally didn't, I generally assume they're lying. Shame on me. If you want even more context questions answered, simply go through my comment history. Update. It's over. A divorce is inevitable. She went full psycho. I thought her being Baker acted would help. I'm sorry if this is all so confusing. Right after the last update, I left her a message saying that I'll be here to support her if she wants me to. And that if she wants her items, she'll have to meet me at the apartment. I figured she'd read it when she got released. After she was released from the hospital, she texted me, "I am getting my stuff." I told her that her old key won't work anymore, and that I got off work in an hour, and could let her in to grab her things. She replied, "I don't think so." I rushed home from work to find my bedroom window smashed. I live on the second floor with no balcony. She had broken the window and somehow climbed the outer wall to enter the window. She took her laptop, headphones. And on her way out she had destroyed the cat litter box and the cat tree bed. I also couldn't find any of their toys anywhere. Thank you to those of you who advised me to have my sister watch my cats for a while. The cats are safe with her. And she doesn't know where my sister lives. I called her and she instantly declined the call and texted me what. I told her to pay to replace what she damaged stole. And she tried to be clever by responding with no amount of money can fix what damage you caused. I didn't take anything either. You owe me a new laptop. I never even mentioned her laptop was gone. So it's obvious she was lying yet again. Thankfully we have a tile account that lets us track items. And we both have tiles in our cars. I found her car in a Walmart parking lot. And through the window I could see all of the stolen items. Along with her laptop and headphones. I just straight up called the police at this point. Long story short. We're going to be spending a lot of time in court. Mental illness or not. I have no sympathy for her anymore. She broke into my apartment. Stole crap. Lied about it. And tried to get me to pay for her crap. That's ignoring the fact that she destroyed the litter box and cat tree. I'm 100% certain that if the cats were home at the time, she would have hurt, killed, or kidnapped them. I do know that divorce is guaranteed. I'd also like a restraining order and money back for what she damaged. But that might be too much. I'm just so done. I feel defeated. I didn't even want to update. I didn't want to deal with more messages about how she or my cats deserve death. Or this didn't happen. I haven't had the will to do much of anything. I've even called out of work multiple days in a row. I just lay around the house thinking of what I could have done different. Was there a better ending for everyone? Anyway, I hope this is the last update. I really do. I just want it to stop. Please. Thank those of you who have supported me through nice comments, or advice, or even sharing your own similar experiences. It's nice to know I'm not exactly alone. Thank you. There is another small update in a message. I have officially moved as of a few days ago. I'm currently paying for rent at 2 places. Because the place I lived at I had signed a contract that if I were to leave before the lease ended, that I'd need to continue to pay rent until the assigned date. It's expensive. But I'm safe. I already handed the keys over to the complex. And they confirmed with me that as of a few days ago, I'm no longer responsible for the state of the apartment. So luckily if she damages anything or breaks in from this point forward, I won't be held accountable financially. She reminds me of an ex with borderline personality disorder. I bet she has a history full of people and objects who have wronged her that she hates with the power of 1,000 suns. The pain these people cause is just a glimpse of the emotional hellscape inside their head. OP probably ignored some pretty big flags in her interpersonal relationships. But the honeymoon phase with those type of people is pretty awesome. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.